All right, let's connect it up here, guys. October 2nd, 2022 coming at you for the live stream. We're going to talk about The Walking Dead, so we'll just wait for this to catch up and the people to join and all that stuff. But man, it's an exciting day. It's, I guess, Walking Dead Day, right? October is Walking Dead month because it's pretty much been since the very beginning. October is when Walking Dead comes back for a new season. And it's not a new season. It is the third and final part of season 11 and the series. So we're going to talk about a bunch of different things too. We're going to talk about the hurricane. We're talking about the craziness in the life right now. But we'll just wait a couple minutes to get rolling here and just making sure that we're connected and we're going and we're excited for it. But happy Founders Day. Yep. That's in The Walking Dead for that too. But we got to put out that spoiler warning for season 11, episode 17 and 18 and a little bit of 19. But spoiler warning for sure. It says it in the title of this video, so I don't want to ruin anything for those who don't want to know if you're watching it on the replay or not. We're going to talk about a bunch of things. I may miss some things in the episodes because it's a lot. It's like 17 and 18 are basically like one big episode. It rolls right into this. The 17 rolls right into 18, and they're both really good. I'm excited for these two episodes for you guys to watch them. It's a nice thing for the series to conclude, if it's such a good thing, with these episodes so far. So, yeah. But, whew, man. So last Sunday, it was my live stream, and the hurricane was coming. And it was supposedly coming for Tampa Bay. And so I was worried about things, and it was supposed to be a 4, and then a 2, and then a 3, and then a this, and then it's coming there, and it's over there. So if for those who don't know, I live in Florida. I live in Tampa Bay. So if the hurricane was coming here, it's not good. And I've been in Florida since 2001. And so I've known hurricanes and tropical storms and what to expect and what not to expect. And it's one of those things where it's scary. And my heart goes out for Fort Myers and Venice and Englewood and all the places in Naples that had flooding, Orlando and all the places that had flooding, all the places that lost power or, going to have to be rebuilt, the barrier islands and all this stuff. It's just terrible. And it's the scary part about a hurricane is that you don't want to be the damage that's there. It comes across is right, the center, the first land where it hits land first. You just never want to be that because those are going to be the highest winds, the highest damage, the highest everything. If you're outside of it, high, low, whatever, how many miles away, you got to worry about flooding and rain and wind and all that stuff too. But luckily, we were okay. My wife and I, we hunkered down in the house. I brought stuff in from the garage or stuff from the patio and put it in the garage and put it here and put it there. And it's just been a craziness on there too. Luckily, we made it through and was excited for The Walking Dead. And I made a couple videos when I had downtime, so hopefully you check those out. And then I was going to post it. I made a video and was going to post it on Saturday yesterday morning. And as I'm having my laptop up, I'm doing stuff on there too. It just kind of shuts off on me. And the battery light was on, but it was plugged in. So it was like crazy to think that, man, what's up with the battery? So I plugged it in, didn't connect, it turned on, but turned off, tried it on, turned it off. It just turned off on me a bunch of times. So I wasn't able to do that. Ordered a battery, came this morning on Amazon because I can't do anything without the battery for the laptop. Got here around 9 o'clock, put it in, and it works. So luckily we're here. It's working great. And that was the only fix is that the battery died on the laptop. And now I'm here too. So it's been a little crazy with that. I got to go shadow another therapist on Monday. So I got to drive about an hour away to go see, the therapist, what they do with this company and everything. So it's just going to be another crazy week. We're into October and we're here. So yeah, I can take a nice deep breath. And we're going to talk about The Walking Dead and the series there too, and we're excited for it. So I'll wait a little bit, probably 15 minutes in or so before we get into the episode. So we'll talk about general Walking Dead stuff because, I don't want to give anything too much away. We'll open it up for, general Walking Dead conversation and discussion. But Dead City is still filming in New Jersey, I believe. There's been a couple of different things. And it's pretty cool that they're still filming. They got to be towards the end of it. They probably got to finish filming in a week or two, I'm guessing, for Dead City, and I'm excited to see what's going to happen with that. I haven't really heard much about Fear the Walking Dead. Don't really care that much about it, but it's been filming in and around Savannah, Georgia. But we'll see where that goes. No information about the Rick and Michonne episodes. Nothing really mentioned about Daryl and the Paris show or French show or whatever. And so that's really what we're talking about, the general Walking Dead universe. But today, October 2nd, is the return of The Walking Dead. I'm excited for you guys to check out the episodes. If you saw them already, I like them. I thought they were great. I thought they were a great start for the final 8 episodes. It was action-packed. A lot of stuff happened, setting some things up. That being said, if you saw my previous video about 11/18, it's not really a death that I thought was going to happen so soon, if at all. It wasn't anything that I thought was a cliffhanger. It didn't really end on a cliffhanger. It kind of just ended the way it kind of ended. So, I don't know. It's just people selling the hype and clicks and views and all that stuff. So, when I share information, I get the information, I share it with you guys, and here we are talking about the Walking Dead universe, guys. So post some general questions if you got them for the first 15 minutes. Well, 9 more minutes, and then we'll get into the 17 and 18. And some people are still confused about the episode lineup. So 17 is going to air tonight on AMC. It's just going to be one episode. Season 11, episode 17. And then Interview with the Vampire, some show that I'm not going to watch, and then Tales of the Walking Dead. On AMC Plus, 11/17 and 11/18 are both on there. So we'll watch that if you haven't seen that on AMC Plus. Next week will be 19, and then 20, and then 21, and 22, and 23. But the word is that episode 24, the finale, that's going to be on AMC and I guess AMC Plus at the same time at 9 o'clock at night, live, regular, whatever they're doing. Because I don't think they want to ruin anything for the last scenes, the post-credit scenes, and they don't want to do anything that way, I'm guessing. It's cool that you can watch 17 and 18 on AMC Plus, but it's kind of annoying that you can't watch the finale early. So you're going to watch all those episodes, and then you're going to have nothing for that 1 week, and then you can watch it on November 20th for the finale. I don't know what they're doing, but either way, I guess people buy it for the month or whatever. Because, I wouldn't assume you'll keep it unless you bought it for the year. I would get rid of it, in December, save a little money, and then, maybe get a deal or something. I don't know, but we'll see how it goes down. But, the end of the series is going to be bittersweet for me and a lot of viewers. It's just going to suck because it's over, right? And it's going to be crazy to think where these characters have been and where they're going, because it's not really ending, right? Now, there is Talking Dead tonight. It's on after Interview with the Vampire. So I'm guessing Walking Dead is from 9 to 10, Interview with the Vampire is 10 to 11, and then Talking Dead is 11 to 12. So set your DVRs, or if you're on the West Coast or whenever you can watch it, it should be from 11 to 12, but check your local listings, of course, for that when you're going to watch it too. So, yeah, I agree, guys. So everyone that's saying that they saw 17 and 18, they're very good. They're very good episodes. They set the tone for the final 8 episodes. So if you watch those 2 episodes, we only have 6 episodes left, which is crazy. Then it's over. But then we got the Maggie and Negan Dead City show. We got the Daryl show. I don't know if Carol's going to show up now, but will that happen down the road in another season of that? Maybe. And the Rick and Michonne show. No word about Tales of the Walking Dead if we're getting another season for that. And no word just yet about the Rick and Michonne show. I'm excited for that too. So I see a lot of people talking about Elijah. If you guys know this channel, and if you know my videos, potentially who was allegedly, possibly, potentially, probably seen for the final episodes of the series, you kind of know who's not there, who is MIA. If they're not in some of those photos, then you pretty much know there's a possibility that they die. If they are in those photos, especially if they're around other cast members during filming, not just messing around, because you could just hang out around set and not film. But I would assume a lot of the characters that we saw filming make it to the end, because that's when they filmed the last episode. So more characters survive than die, in my opinion. So I think we're going to see more characters left alive, which is good. I'm not rooting for deaths, but it kind of feels out of character and out of stuff for the show to keep so many characters alive. If it's the end of the series and we're never going to see these characters again, why don't they do something heroic and something way and go out on a way, on a whim that's pretty strong, pretty good, pretty just like memorable, remarkable. If there's a chance to see the characters again, keep them alive. Like, don't kill off characters just to kill them off, because we don't have to see characters again. After the main show ends, we don't need to see much happening for characters. Like, I don't know, unless they're going to do the kids get older, we don't really need to see so many of the kids. But we do want to see Judith and RJ and Gracie, and we want to see characters like that. But we'll see how it goes down for the future of the show. But that's the future of the show. Let's just get through the series. And it's bittersweet when you're watching. It's cool, don't get me wrong, but it's kind of, I don't know, anticlimactic when you see Daryl and Carol and Maggie and Negan, and they're like, yeah, they're kind of put in a precarious situation, but we know they survive because they're in spinoffs, right? So we're not worried about them. I guess it's the smaller characters like Jerry or Aaron, Rosita, Father Gabriel that could go. Elijah, some people think Elijah's going to go. Lydia, Yumiko, Magna. So still don't see Oceanside. Oceanside is not in either of these episodes. They're talked about, but we don't see them, so we don't know what Lance did. And that's how 11/16 ended. So to recap, 11/16 ended with Lance taking over Alexandria, Hilltop, and Oceanside. He flipped his coin, and I guess that was decide who lives, who dies with Oceanside. And I guess that's what it was. We don't really know anything about that because we don't see Oceanside. And 11/17 picks up with Maggie and Daryl just doing their thing and, basically taking on the Commonwealth Troopers and Lance. But it also starts with the opening is Judith talking about, I heard stories about the past, about people surviving, and some people went to the darkness, and some people were better with other people, and some people fell to the darkness. And they show Shane, they show Negan, they show the villains basically. So you see different things like that, and I like that. And I like that Judith is narrating it because that means that Judith lives. I'm guessing she's telling the story of stuff. Tommy Griffin Jr., what's up? And I like that they're showing you previous stuff of The Walking Dead. And in relation to it, it makes sense because you see where people came, and you see Rick, and you see that, and you see Negan, and you see where it is. But also in 11/18, you see a little more Daryl than that. And it kind of focuses on Daryl. And Angela Kang talks about that as you wanted to highlight a little bit more with Daryl of where he's been and what he's doing now to highlight the story where he's come from Daryl from the beginning to now. And I think they're going to do that more throughout the series, focusing on characters probably like Maggie, maybe even Negan, maybe Carol, stuff that have been around for a longer time, which is really cool. And I like that Judith is narrating, and it's always good. The shows love to do it as they love to have the fact that where they've been and where they are now, like everything gets a return, everything gets a circle, everything gets, the first season, you recap stuff. It's kind of like a where they've been type of thing, and it makes sense in a way that is rewarding. Let me see. Joey Gator Q&A. Do you think the Swarm will eventually overrun the Commonwealth because they did anything to see? I don't think so. I mean, we'll talk about that in there too, but I think the Swarm was just to set up how inept the Commonwealth Troopers are. The Commonwealth Troopers are definitely like Stormtroopers. They're disposable. They're expendable. They're just going to be a bunch of people getting taken out, and it's just like the pawns in chess. Yep, take them out, have people lost, have this, have that, but there's like so many of them, and they're just pretty weak. They don't know what they're doing, that's for sure. Matthew Wolfson, do they just think Michonne is trying to find more allies then? I don't know. It's kind of weird that Michonne doesn't try to radio or try to check in at all. Like it's kind of a plot hole, but we know why, and we're going to see him back again, which is good. I saw a question, the Swarm, sorry, trying to go through the different questions here. I saw one about Not Too Jenks Q&A. Bri, who is B12 that Pamela radioed to? I don't know. I don't know what that whole thing was because we don't know, because Pamela Milton kind of radioed stuff when they were looking for Sebastian, and I don't know. I really don't know what that is. I'm guessing that she radioed the house, the people that she was going to, away from the Commonwealth main downtown area, is my best guess. But what do you think it is? What do you guys think there is too? So let's get talking about the Walking Dead episode. So spoiler warning, guys, too. And it's a lot for me to cover, so I may miss some things. But 11:17 and 11:18 are basically it's like one big episode. So 11:17 starts with Daryl and Maggie. They're clearing out a room in a abandoned thing, and they kill some walkers. They clear it out, clear, and they look. They hear gunfire. They go to the window. They see Lance and a bunch of Commonwealth troopers. And so they hear, what's the plan? Take them out, blah, blah, blah. Lance says, split up, go find them, take them out. That's the orders. They say, what are we going to do? We're going to take all these Commonwealth troopers out and take Lance out is the plan. They hear some noise. Maggie hides behind the door. Daryl hides behind a column. And they look, and it's Father Gabriel, Aaron, and they found Negan and Annie. So they all join in. They decide, what's the plan? What are they going to do, right? Joey the Gator. Talking Dead tonight is Greg Nicotero, Norman Reedus, and Yvette Nicole Brown, and of course Chris Hardwick. So basically just Daryl. Joey the Gator. When do you think the CRM will come to play this season? I hope at some point it does. It definitely is not necessarily saying it will. I think it needs to, but not till the middle, if not the very end of the season. I don't think it's going to happen now. It would have already happened, but I hope it does. I hope the CRM shows up or is mentioned or something. Their connection is there, like Lance has a connection with it. It would make sense. So they come up with a plan to send Negan out because Lance knows Maggie and Daryl and Father Gabriel and Aaron, and not Annie, but Annie's going to stay back. And then Daryl comes up with the plan, and Negan kind of goes along with it, and he actually drops an F-bomb. And it's very subtle, but it's very Negan. And he decides to go out there and take on the Commonwealth. So as the Commonwealth splits up, they're in a car. 2 Commonwealth troopers get out, and they take out some walkers. And then the one Commonwealth trooper is swarmed. Negan comes around. He's got his Whisperer skin mask on, stabs the guy in the side, lets the walkers go after him, takes the car and takes the SUV and drives off. Or he slides also the radio and the Commonwealth rifle by van. Or a minivan. And Daryl someone opens the door, picks up the rifle and the radio, and it's Daryl. So Negan's joyriding around the Commonwealth, the Ford Explorer or whatever it is, and he's riding around, and the Commonwealth troopers are chasing him. And he's just riding around. It's pretty cool, action-packed, kind of good sequence. And Daryl takes on some Commonwealth troopers. Shoots one, kills one, wounds one, shoots Lance in the arm, and one of the guys gets away and uses the radio, the antenna, to call so-and-so. Can't get a hold of it. Got to get on the roof. Maggie and Annie go take him out and destroy the radio so they don't really get any message out to it. Lance is kind of wounded in the arm, but not really. He's got this little revolver, and they Daryl's taking out Commonwealth trooper. Daryl doesn't get injured at all, because Daryl is Daryl. He's got that plot armor. So he's like, die, get down, taking out, Commonwealth troopers and wounded Lance. And then he actually runs around his minivan, evidently, and Lance and the Commonwealth troopers come around. Daryl jumps in the SUV, another SUV, gets in there and drives out. And he's like, later, suckers, and he drives away. So as Lance and the Commonwealth troopers are trying to get around, they're basically, trying to hunt down our group. Negan is taking the one SUV away from it. Daryl comes out of nowhere, smashes into the SUV. Negan continues driving and leaves. Negan actually goes to the Commonwealth and talks to Mercer and gets, he goes to Mercer and says that he's a friend of April's. And we all know that April has died. Mercer knows who April is. Some people don't. So he figures out that, who is this guy, Negan? Mercer and Negan talk privately. He says, who sent you? Daryl. They talk about this, and Negan is allowed into the Commonwealth, which is kind of cool. As he's there looking around, Jerry comes over nowhere and says, what are you doing here? He's like, I'm sent to save your butt. What are you doing, right? So then he goes around. They go to the room, Carol's apartment, but before, Carol looks out the window, and everyone is kind of like, we want Sebastian, give us Sebastian now. We want justice, give us Sebastian now. We want justice, because the paper stuff. So Pamela Milton is also on the loudspeaker saying, sorry, we will handle this. Go back to your rooms, do this, handle this stuff. And the crowd control is pretty weak. It's called Lockdown is the episode, and it's basically lockdown for the people, and also a swarm comes just randomly on their own. I don't know how there's so many walkers still around, but it's definitely something that the walkers are still around, and there's plenty of them. Our group is not controlling them by any means, but they're coming towards the Commonwealth. I don't think they're going to get inside the Commonwealth, but who knows? Maybe at some point, maybe they do. They should have walls and barriers and stuff to, have that. If they don't, that's terrible. The Commonwealth has been there for a long time, and it just doesn't make sense that they have so many there too, but I don't know. Let me see. Tim Simmons, how are you liking Annie? She seems pretty laid back and quiet, the opposite of Negan, who's always talking. I like Annie. I think Annie is, pretty good. She helps out. She helps Maggie take out the Commonwealth troopers and just does her thing. And she actually comes into the Commonwealth in the second episode in 11:18, but we'll talk about that when we get there. Gary Page, Q&A. Do you think Negan has had the best arc? He is such a good guy now. The best arc? I don't know. I mean, he's had an arc for sure. I mean, the best arc is probably Daryl. I mean, Daryl was an outsider. Now he's such a valuable person, and he's always been a valuable person for there, too. But Negan has had a good story arc. But Negan has killed two beloved characters. That's never going to be okay in a lot of people's eyes. So, I don't know. Not too Jenks, Bry. When Hornsby mentioned don't make the Alliance mad, what do you feel? He's not referencing CRM. He's referencing his people that maybe he's referencing CRM, but we have no inclination of that. What he's referencing to me is Shira, the bald dude, those people that are hiding his group, his secret society. And also the people that were doing the poppy seeds and all that stuff, those people. He has deals like that. If Lance has a deal at the CRM, great, but we haven't seen that yet. I know everybody wants a connection with the CRM. I'm right there with you guys. I want one too. I want one more than anybody else because it makes sense. It is the glue that can connect the shows, the series, the spinoffs, the future of The Walking Dead. It makes sense. So I think that if that's going to come around, it should come around probably the middle of these 8 episodes, 5 or 6, set some things up. But Lance is still running things, and we'll get to that. Don't worry. But he's not referencing that. He's referencing his other connections like that. We have no inclination that he has a connection there. So as Rosita is walking around, we see Connie, we see Kelly, we see Magna. Things are starting to break down in the Commonwealth. Rosita is walking around in street clothes. Mercer comes out and says, Rosita, I need you. She's like, personal day, I took one. Well, not today. I need you here and there. So Rosita goes and puts on her armor. So when the swarm comes to the Commonwealth, towards the Commonwealth, Rosita, Mercer, and everybody are there, but they take their sweet time getting out there. They have Jeeps. They have 50 cal machine guns on the back. They have machine guns on the back of it on the thing so they could just mow down the walkers. There's no reason for them to get close to the walkers whatsoever, but they do. The Commonwealth troopers and, basically Mercer's dummies that he's running are just like waste of space. Like their tactics are dumb. Their Jeep gets overturned somehow. Like they just do dumb things. And then Mercer drives his Jeep over to his guy that gets swarmed. And the walkers don't attack Mercer or anyone on the Jeep. They attack the guy and they rip the guy in half, which would be incredibly tough to do. But Mercer's holding one half of the guy's arms and they grab the legs of the guy and they pull him, rip him apart. The blood and the guts and everything, that's what they need and what they have. But it's just dumb. The tactics of things is just dumb on there too. I know why they did it, but it's how it gets down. But before that, like I said, Carol is in her room and with RJ, Judith, and Gracie, and they're cooking, making blueberry pancakes that Carol is burning because she's looking at pictures of Sebastian because nobody can find Sebastian because of the paper stuff. And the last time they had it, they printed the paper, and Connie and Kelly and Magna are trying to take down the Commonwealth, and the article caused the commotion that's there. Shira and the bald dude go into Carol's apartment. And, This person wrote, Tales of the Walking Dead is better. Yeah, better at being terrible, that's for sure. But The Walking Dead is the staple of the show, in my opinion. It's the staple of the universe. But the Walking Dead universe, that is. But so Shira goes in. They hide. Judith is hiding in a cabinet, and they look around, and Carol went outside. She has a knife, and Shira looks out the window, and they don't see that. But the bald dude looks at a picture and sees RJ, Judith, and Daryl on the picture. So they know to look for them. But I told you, Jerry comes across Negan, and Negan is sent to go find Judith and protect them because of Lance and what they're trying to do there. Jerry and Negan go to the apartment, knock on the door. Carol lets in Negan and Jerry, and they're surprised to see Negan, of course. They come up with a plan, decide what to do. They have to find plans to see where Sebastian could be. So Negan and Carol go look around in all these places. I don't know how they're getting all this access, but they go in and look for this and look for that, and look for plans of the Union Station and all this other stuff. While Jerry takes RJ, Judith, and Gracie away, they're kind of followed by Shira and the bald dude. That's Lance's guy, and they go there, and Jerry's like, I need people there. I see my guy Jimmy, the big black guy, where he's holding a sign. That's Jimmy. His real name is Jimmy. He doesn't have a name on the show. I wish he had a couple lines or a couple parts in there, but he's a former savior that was part of the kingdom, and then part of the Alexandria, and part of there. He's part of all these different things, and they run interference with Shira and the bald dude as Jerry, RJ, Gracie, and Judith go up the staircase or the fire escape ladder. And they go up, they hide. I don't know how the bald dude doesn't see Jerry as they knock things over. It knocks like the little, things that are on the staircase. They don't see him. They get away. And this lady looks out her window and looks down. And Jerry's like, hey, can I ask you for a favor? So then they hide in there, I guess, and they're safe. So Negan and Carol come across this wall that should have a door there. Carol has a crowbar. She pops it open, and they go in, and that's where Sebastian is. Sebastian's sleeping there. So Carol and Negan find Sebastian, and the interaction with Negan is great because Negan being Negan, I don't know if there's a better talker. Abraham's great, Eugene's pretty great, but Negan is up there too as a list. He's one of the best talkers in The Walking Dead. And they wake up Sebastian. Sebastian reaches for a gun. Negan steps on his hand and grabs the gun. And they basically convince Sebastian to listen to Carol to go find Pamela Milton. Pamela Milton is looking for him. Carol says, your mother needs you and wants you to be safe. And Carol's looking at it from a standpoint that if they make a deal with Pamela Milton and save Sebastian, they can work on a deal to save their group and get everyone off their, get everyone safe. So that's the whole ideal behind it. As they get Sebastian out of the room, they go outside, and as the swarm is coming, the guy with the bullhorn is telling everybody to go inside, but there's a candlelight vigil for April. So you see April's parents and the people that were killed and the people that are still missing, that they're outside by the, column thing, basically the Washington Monument kind of thing. And they have candles, and they're this, and the walkers are coming. But as Negan and Carol are bringing Sebastian out, there's a guy that leaves the vigil and says, Sebastian's here, he's right here. Carol and Sebastian run away. Negan runs interference with the guy. He gets smacked in the back of the head by the Commonwealth trooper, gets knocked down, and he's okay. He's fine. Negan is actually okay. We see him in the second episode, so it was not a big deal. But 11:18. So then Carol takes Sebastian to Pamela Milton, who is actually meeting with Yumiko. Before that, Yumiko talks with Magna, and I can't help but to notice and comment about Yumiko's red shoes. I think Yumiko's going to be safe. I don't think Yumiko's going to die. But who's connected to Yumiko? Her brother. Tommy, whatever you want to call him. I think Tommy dies. Part because of the red object theory, the red theory, but also because it makes sense. But we'll have to see. So Pamela Milton is at the outpost house, wherever she's at, separate place. And so she's talking with Pamela Milton, and Pamela Milton is like, how can you have a lawyer that's on my side if you're actually friends with the paper people and, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And as they're talking and disagreeing, Carol comes in with Sebastian. Pamela Milton is like, oh, you're safe, blah, 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 and then smacks Sebastian in the face. Carol says, look, I need you to come with me. And Carol's like, who are you? I don't know what's going on. Well, I finished, I'm the person that can set up a deal. We can help each other. You can help my people. I can help you take the heat off of Sebastian because they're going to put it on Lance and get it off of Sebastian. So they're not going to take stuff away. They're going to take it away from Sebastian and put it on Lance, which is very smart. So the fact of it is that Carol is making her deal there with Pamela Milton because she needs to. Because at the end of the episode, you see Daryl, Annie, Father Gabriel, Aaron, and Maggie underneath the sewers because they're trying to creep up on Lance. He's hiding with his Commonwealth troopers, which is like so many of them, by the way. And they decide to go underneath the sewers and try to sneak up on Lance. They see a couple walkers down there. I don't know how they got down there, but I guess people were living there. And which would be terrible to be living in a sewer. I mean, come on, right? So he's like, what if we get them to come down here? So Father Gabriel shoots a couple shots. And then they set up a thing with the walker. Remember the walker in the trailer that's kind of like tied up and it's like kind of doing there. It's just crazy to think. It's one of those things where you have the troopers come down. You see Aaron and Annie hiding underneath this thing, and the troopers look at the walker that they tied up, and they slice into the legs of the Commonwealth troopers, come out and basically swarm them. The Commonwealth troopers come out and around. Lance comes out, and I don't know why Lance and everybody had to go down there, but Lance is there. Everyone's pointing their guns at each other. Daryl comes behind Lance, puts his knife to his throat, and that's how the episode ends. Setting up the next episode, it starts off right up for that left off. It happens like really fast. I'm guessing is that it's Mercer, Pamela Milton, Carol, and other Commonwealth troopers come down into the sewers. Like they knew where to go. They knew what to do. It was all that. It was like, but they come down. Mercer says, everyone put your guns down, do this. Daryl's not stopping with Lance and throws him up against this thing and puts his knife to his throat again. And Pamela Milton is like, I need him alive. Do not kill him. Drop your weapon. And then he's like, I'm not doing anything. And he's like, oh, you're with them now, Mercer? And Mercer's like, no, I'm just trying to keep the peace. I'm protecting the Commonwealth. Well, if I was against you, you'd be dead already. He's like, do what you got to do, because Daryl's not letting up. Carol comes over and says, I made a deal. Put your knife down. Stop what you're doing. We need him alive. So Daryl thinks about what to do. Ends up stabbing Lance's hand in the palm of the hand, which is great. Kind of love that. I wrote that in a couple of my books. And Lance freaks out. Daryl rips the knife out, and he's like, he's alive, but had to give it to him a little bit. So then that's the opening, I believe. The opening is where the cast has been. Blah blah blah. You see Daryl riding the bike. He's like, you left my brother on a roof. You let him to die. And then he sees Daryl and Merle in the Chupacabra episode. You see, a bunch of things where that, and it's just really cool to see that too. And I can't help but point out when Daryl and Merle are on the bridge when they had the car. It's a red car that Merle wants to take. So it's just kind of cool to see that. And then I think the next scene is everybody talking by a back, part of the building, like the back entrance of the building. And they're like, look, our deal is they give us guns, medicine, we can leave, we can do this. They get Lance. Lance is going to take the fall for it. They're going to pin everything on Lance. Or it actually might be when two walkers are coming towards Mercer and Lance is tied up and he's in the ground. He's on the ground with his his wrists and his ankles tied together. And he's kind of giving it to Mercer like, yeah, I thought we were friends. I thought we were cordial. I thought we were this. And Mercer's like, my job is to protect the Commonwealth and blah, blah, blah. And you can see that he's like, they're not your people. And so Lance and Mercer really aren't. You can see that Mercer is being told time and time again that you are not valued here. You see it one way. It's just not good, right? It's just kind of crazy. So the two walkers are coming. Mercer kills the two walkers, walks away. Pamela Milton comes over to Lance. They talk, and he's like, yep, you're going to go. We're going to take you back to the Commonwealth. There's going to be a trial, and that's it. You can cut the act. It's alone. We're alone now. You don't need to be tough on me now, Pamela Milton, Lance says to her. And so he's like, no, that's it. You've gone too far. You've done this. You've overstretched your boundaries. You've done two crazy things. But also the fact that Sebastian was in trouble, and they can pin it on Lance. So then Sebastian gets off. That's the biggest thing, which is kind of good writing, right? So the big thing about it is that Lance is going to still be around and still be the villain. Pamela Milton is cutting ties with Lance because, that's what she's about, protecting herself and her family and the Milton legacy, right? So Lance and Pamela Milton argue, and Pamela Milton says to Lance, you think you've been in the game, but you haven't even been a player in the game at all. And Lance is like, you still need me. There's alliances that we need to, handle, and you need me to do that. If he goes away, then there's problems between the Commonwealth and the alliances. Could he be talking about the CRM? I hope so. Potentially. Possibly. But that's not been alluded to at all. He's got the poppy seed people, the opium people. He's got his Shira and Bald Dude people. He's got potentially other connections as well. I guess the Hilltop, Oceanside, and Alexandria, his people are there too, right? So I guess he's got stuff that's there. There's just been no inclination of the CRM. But so that's kind of the whole thing. They bring him back, and we see Elijah, Lydia, Carol, Gracie, Aaron, Father Gabriel, Jerry, like a bunch of people talking and getting stuff set up. Daryl's putting his weapons away. He takes his mace. He takes Judith's sword, the katana, takes his gun. We see Rick's gun. So that's the close-up. Remember from the trailer, like, it's a big deal. He found Rick's gun. Well, it's always been there. It's Judith's gun now. So he checks it, hands it to Judith. Judith says, I don't want it. And they make a really big deal about that being that Judith doesn't want it in the behind the episode, inside the episode thing after the episode, because Judith doesn't want the gun because she wants it to be safe. If she doesn't need a gun, everything is safe. If nobody needs weapons anymore, they're back to the way it was before stuff. Even though Judith doesn't know that. She was born into the zombie apocalypse. But either way, you think about not needing weapons and all this stuff because she had that at the Commonwealth and it was kind of safe. But Daryl says, okay, I'll keep it. I'll hold it for you. She talks about, what about this place and protecting it, and they still have this. They still need them. And Daryl's like, stop, just stop. Like he's trying to do as best he can. He's basically the father to Judith now. And Carol and Daryl talk about that. And that's kind of where Daryl is the father figure for Daryl now. So it's taking a village to raise Judith, that's for sure. Aaron tells Gracie that he's going to go back to Oceanside. So he's going to Oceanside with Jerry, Elijah, and Lydia. And they actually get on a cart and roll out. And they load up their stuff and they're going back to, Oceanside. Lydia is talking to Carol. Elijah puts his arm around her. So I guess they're together now. They're dating a little bit or whatever. They have a relationship. And Lydia kind of feels bad and says, I'm sorry. I didn't forget about Henry. I still miss the guy, blah, blah, blah. And Carol's like, look, you deserve to be happy. Find happiness where you can. And they roll out with that. Aaron says to Maggie, I'll see you, when you get back. And like I said, Jerry, Aaron, Lydia, and Elijah roll out on the cart, and they're going to Oceanside. But we'll see them next week at that Renaissance village type thing place where the walkers are climbing over the walls, and I guess that's where the swarm's going. So I guess that's where it makes sense, where the swarm will actually be there. I personally don't think that Jerry and Aaron both make it out. But tune in next week. We'll have to see how it goes down. They're both very much alive in this episode. So when we go back to the Commonwealth, we see an ultrasound. It's of Annie and Negan, just like Glenn and Maggie. It's basically the same exact thing. The doctor talks about she has high amniotic fluid or low amniotic fluid. I can't remember if it was high or low. So I don't know if that's going to be a birthing problem, a problem for her, a problem for the baby, development problem. I don't know what that's going to be. But they're in the right place. The Commonwealth can take care of, it just makes sense as well. Yeah. Not Too Jank says, Elijah touched Red, Bri, for sure. Red theory. I don't think so. I think Elijah's going to be fine personally, but we'll have to see. I think the Red theory is going to, and also we'll talk about Lance and the Red theory for sure. So the big thing is that they're back at the Commonwealth. Elijah. I got Elijah on the brain reading the comments. But so we see that everything's back at the Commonwealth now. Some people are going to leave. Some people are going to stay. Daryl comes over to RJ, who's reading an Invincible comic, by the way. That's Robert Kirkman's other comic. That was actually turned into a TV show on Amazon. And Judith is supposed to be packing to go back to Alexandria. And RJ's like, I don't know where she went. I'm not supposed to tell you, but they don't know where she went, and Judith's not really packing up. Judith wants to stay at the Commonwealth. So we see Father Gabriel giving his last sermon to an empty church. There's nobody in there. And as he finishes, Rosita and the baby come in. They are highlighting Rosita a little bit more now. Like she's in every episode so far, 17 and 18. And, I kind of think it was the thing where they're highlighting a little bit more. I mean, she's one of them. I don't know if is Rosita a main character? Is she a top, 5-6 character? Because if she is, she's towards the end of that. But, I think they're trying to highlight some things for that. We'll have to see. So, but they talk about the church and that Father Gabriel did a good job there. And Rosita, they can't wait to go back. And they're going to pack up and they're going to leave. And I guess to go back. But they're probably not going to end up leaving because we'll have to see what happens with, the Commonwealth. And people get in trouble. And we'll have to see. We'll talk about later in the episode what happens. But if you check what... from the trailer, you see that the Commonwealth troopers go and get Rosita, Ezekiel, and Princess in future episodes. So that's not going to be good for those characters, and I guess they don't make it out, but we know that a big war is coming, so we'll have to see how it goes down. Not in this episode, but it's coming there too. So everything's kind of calmed down because they think that Lance did it, not Sebastian. I'm sure some people don't believe that, and some people are this. But Lance is brought back to the Commonwealth. He's put in jail. And Max doesn't want to let it go. She wants to take down the Miltons still, especially Sebastian. And Eugene is like, hey, you ever thought about a change of scenery? You want to come back with me, back to, I guess Hilltop or Alexandria? And she's like, nah, maybe later, not right now. Right? So Max doesn't want to let it go. So Eugene and Max go talk to Lance, who's locked up in a jail cell. And Max kind of hides, and it's just Eugene tries to get information out of get information out of Lance. Eugene gives Lance a gift. It's the apple. It's the caramel apple, right? It's bright red, and it's focused on for several seconds, and it's in frame, and it's clearly a thing there too. So we all can think that Lance is going to die, right? He doesn't die in this episode, but he'll probably die in one of the next 2 episodes, maybe 3 episodes, because we had 6 episodes left. Maybe he makes it 2 or 3 more episodes, but I think he eventually dies for sure. Is it highlighting that? But Lance is not giving up any information, and he's like, "Yeah, tell your girlfriend that you take on the Miltons. They will break you. They will take you down." Lance doesn't really cooperate. So Max and Eugene leave, and they don't really get anything out of this. We see that it's Founders Day in the episode. Sebastian is supposed to give a speech They tell him what to write. They give him, like a script. He's not right. He doesn't want to read it. He's kind of, being Sebastian, right? So being a pain in the butt. So he's getting a script. He's like, I sound like a douche and blah, blah, I sound like this. I'm terrible. He's just terrible. So Max is like, yeah, man, this guy's got to be taken down. So Max won't let it go, right? Because Max has seen Sebastian and the Miltons over and over again, and Sebastian's had time and time again. Spoiled brat, gets away with it, is ungrateful. We ain't got time for that. So later on in the episode, Sebastian dies. He's the big death in it, which is great. So the fact of it is that Sebastian is the big death that is the cliffhanger death, the thing that the comic readers didn't see. But it's good because Sebastian can't kill Rick. Well, Rick's not there. Can't kill Negan. Can't kill anybody. So he's gone. So they change things up, which is good, which is what we want. We want to have differences from the show and the comic and how it goes, right? So the fact that Max is pushing the envelope, which is interesting. She's kind of behind it a little bit. So we see the people, they highlight that the people that set up the Founders Day, the wrestling ring, because there's a wrestling match, the chairs, the sound speakers, all that stuff, the audio stuff. They come in there and be like, yep, we set it up every year. We don't get to have fun. We don't get to do it. We don't get to have the lottery. And as they're talking about it, Shira and the bald dude from Lance come in and they just kill them all. They kill about 10 people, maybe 15. I don't know. It's a good amount of people, the people that set up for Founders Day, the workers. And they let them turn. So they turn into walkers inside the gates of the Commonwealth, which is pretty interesting. The wrestling match is kind of cheesy, kind of this, but Pamela Milton says in the comics they play football, but through the COVID and stuff, they couldn't really do it, so they decide to do the wrestling. And it also fits very well because it's scripted, it's a facade. Is it fake? How you think about it. And so is the Commonwealth. So is the Milton. So is politics there. It's just the rich want to stay rich and the weak become this. So as Judith and Daryl go to the event, and Max is there too. Eugene is running the AV stuff, the audio stuff. And before that, Max talks with Sebastian, who is struggling with his speech, and for Founders Day, because he's supposed to take over, and he's the grandfather of President Milton, or the grandson of President Milton, and just being part of the founders for it. And he's like, I can't read this, I sound this, blah, blah, blah. So Max goes in there and puts a tape recorder down, and puts down the big tape recorder and hits record, pours a drink, basically sets up Sebastian to say some really bad things. And Sebastian says that, these people are stupid. They don't run things right. The people that run things are, a power. They want to stay in power. The people are poor. They're going to stay poor. The lottery is rigged. That, Pamela Milton handpicks the lottery winners, right? So it's all phony. It's all crappy. It's all, it's all set up. So as, Max gets the recording, she's like, yes, I got him. That's what Sebastian is played over the loudspeakers, over the speakers, because Eugene plays that. So everyone's like, what? I can't believe it. Oh my God, this is terrible. Blah, blah, blah. Sebastian puts 2 and 2 together, calls Max a B, hops through the ring, runs after, people get chaos, this and that. Then the walkers start coming out. The people that Shira and, the bald dude killed, the workers. So there's all these walkers in there now. The Commonwealth troopers are fighting off the mob, the people, the Commonwealth. The pretzels and popcorn or beer and drinks and stuff, glass bottles are being thrown around. Mercer's trying to figure out what's going on, and Mercer has to leave the ring, and because he's got to protect the Commonwealth, also his sister. And Pamela Milton's like, where are you going? Your job is to protect me. And he's like, no, my job is to protect the Commonwealth. Get it straight. So we get to see some defiance, which is going to build and build and build and build. We're going to see that happening, for sure. So Sebastian is running after Max. and it's a whole big thing. Daryl takes out his knives after he gives Judith wants the gun back because she has to help the people there. She shoots one of the workers that were biting a Commonwealth resident, kills the walker, and they're kind of doing their thing there in the chaos. Sebastian finds Max, grabs her, and we see one of the female workers that is coming at Sebastian and Max. His idea is to turn Max towards the walker and have the walker bite her. Eugene sees this happening. He kind of scurries over there. The run is kind of funny. He's like, he kind of like does it's not a jog or whatever. It's a scurry, I guess. I don't know how else to describe it. He runs over there, knocks the walker into Sebastian. The female walker is trying to get Sebastian on the street. He's fighting off. He's like, help, 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 help. Everyone stops what they're doing and just watches it. Like everyone, like the whole world stops and just watches Sebastian put up a pretty piss poor fight against this female walker. And he's like, help, 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 and no one helps him. The walker ends up biting his neck, I think twice. Judith shoots the walker, and Sebastian was bit on the neck, and Judith looks upset about the whole thing, and that's how the episode ends. And so, in 2 episodes, we lose some Commonwealth troopers and Sebastian. And then we're on to episode 19 next week, where the chaos is going on. That it's Mercer who says to Princess that Pamela Milton wants Eugene Porter to put him on trial and get him in trouble for Sebastian. So I guess Eugene's going to be on trial, because I don't think Lance is going to make it to trial, because I'm sure that Pamela Milton is going to need his help or he breaks out. So during the whole chaos, I'm guessing Shira and the bald dude break Lance out. I'm guessing, because they killed those walkers to set up stuff there and cause a distraction to probably get Lance out, I'm guessing. So the whole big thing about it is that Eugene's going to get in trouble, and we'll have to see probably a trial. And Ezekiel, Princess, and Rosita are kind of arrested, kind of a thing. And Daryl pulls Eugene away that someone's in trouble. I'm guessing it's Max. And he's like, we got to go, we got to go. And there's still more chaos ensues and stuff. And you see Sebastian's body laying in the morgue. And Pamela Milton wants, Eugene to suffer from it, because I guess she's blaming Eugene for, I guess, playing the audio. So I don't know. Max will probably be in trouble too. But Max would probably be able to escape because of Mercer, and we'll have to see how it goes down. But overall, the first 2 episodes are really good. I enjoyed them heavily. The Negan being Negan was great. His interaction with Sebastian was great. I'm glad we got to see that. I'm glad we got to see, some interactions with people and stuff there too. It's always good to see Carol and Negan. I think they play well off each other. Maggie and Daryl play well off each other. And so we lost Commonwealth troopers and Sebastian. I assume we're going to lose Lance. And we have to lose some people from our group, right? I don't know who they're going to be specifically, even though we think we have it figured out for one of the bigger deaths later on in a couple episodes. But overall, guys, it's a great start for the final 8 episodes. So I'm loving the idea of seeing where they've come from, where the characters have been. I like the narration at the beginning. Also, the opening is new. Let me talk about that for a little bit before I finish. So it's the same opening with, the tree and the this and the that and the names and the whatever and the whispers on the walls and stuff like too. But you see Hilltop, you see Alexandria. The music is a little different. You see the Commonwealth troopers and Mercer facing off with the walkers that are coming towards them. It's a little bit longer opening, which is pretty cool. Also, The Walking Dead is white lettering, and I can't remember if it's the same for 17 and 18, but blood drips down from the G. So I don't know if that means anything. I don't know if they just kind of centered it where the blood comes down. Is there going to be more blood coming down? I don't know if it's going to change from that. but we'll see if that means anything for Jerry. But we'll have to see, what happens with the future of the cast members, and I'm excited for next week for the episode 19 on AMC Plus. But we're getting there, guys. I mean, it's already down. First 2 episodes are down, 6 more to go, and we'll see how this thing wraps up. But it's a good start. It's been rocking and rolling. There's a lot of action. A lot of stuff happens. It's not like we're waiting around for Gabriel. Hey, yeah, that works too. But I think Gabriel survives personally. But so we'll have to see, what is going to be differences on the comic, because we always say that the show is the show and the comic is the comic for sure. And that makes sense because the differences are pretty heavily, because they have to be. The characters that are still alive are different. The characters that left are different. The characters that are still for the Commonwealth, but we know that the Commonwealth's going to fall, and there's going to be a war, and there's going to be a battle. There's going to be stuff there, and what side is people on, and we'll have to see. Lance Hornsby, do you think we will lose any character in Aaron's group next week? Aaron, Jerry, Lydia, or Elijah? To me, if we do, it's between Aaron and Jerry. I think we could lose somebody there. It would make sense. If we lose Aaron or Jerry, I think Lydia and Elijah both make it to the end of the series. But yeah, we'll have to see how it goes down. But Lance Hornsby, man, we'll have to see, man, getting in trouble here. Getting in trouble within the Commonwealth. We'll see if you make it out, but I don't think you're going to make it out. But you know better than me, Lance, if you make it out or not. But I don't know. Natu really thinks Elijah and Jerry are gone. Spoiler. I don't know. I don't think they're both going to die. I think, as I said, my thought process is between Aaron and Jerry. So we'll have to see how it goes down. Chrome C Esports. Do you think Judith let Sebastian die? I think they all let Sebastian die. Judith could have easily shot the walker, and she didn't. And it was just better that we didn't. So it's good that Sebastian's gone, right? Maybe that would be a little thing for Judith to feel like she let it happen, or she didn't do anything to save him, or whatever. I think she could have a little guilt for that, for sure. I mean, it depends what the writers want to do for these characters. Q&A, did you hear the siren in the music? The music's a little different. I kind of heard a little different. I don't know. I didn't really look too much into it that much, but I might have to check it out a little bit more. But I do like the idea that they have the opening. Well, yeah, the opening's a little different, which is good. They could have kept it the same. They didn't have to do anything at all. And also, they didn't have to have the little, montage of where these characters have been. I mean, I guess they could, but it eats up probably 30 seconds of the episode, maybe a minute or so. But not even that much where it's much, but it's cool to see. It's always good to see where these characters are, where they've been, where they're going on their two. But we'll have to see what happens next week. If you watch tonight's episode, it's just 11:17 on AMC. Then Interview with the Vampire episode, new show, pilot episode series. I'm not going to watch it. And then Talking Dead is Daryl, Greg Nicotero, and Yvette Nicole Brown, and Chris Hardwick, of course. So there we go, guys. We're back. It's October 2nd. It's crazy to think that we're in the final episodes of The Walking Dead. Also, another big question is, what do you think is going to be the post-credit scene? I hope it's scenes, because you have the main show, it ends, roll a couple credits, scene. Couple more credits, scene. Rest of the credits, another scene. You could easily do it, and I think they should do it. And I think a lot of people are probably expecting something with Rick in the final episode, but I think it doesn't really fit, in my opinion, with the final episode. It works better as a post-credit scene or scenes, but we'll have to see how it plays out. But that's November 20th. That's so long from now. It's October 2nd, so we'll see that on November 20th. We'll be getting ready for Thanksgiving and all that stuff too. So The Walking Dead will be done before Thanksgiving. That's crazy. So, yeah, man, Natu Jenks has a lot to say. He's like, Lance will live. Lance lives. Why do you think Lance lives? What makes sense for Lance to live unless CRM comes and saves him, and that sets up a whole separate thing. But this is the end of the series. you can't set up, in my opinion at least, you can't set up so many extra things if the main show is ending. Unless you're trying to take it for another show, another spinoff, another thing. That's why I don't think, unless it would be kind of cool to see Jadis. Will Jadis show up again? What if Jadis comes and rescues Lance? That would be crazy. I don't know if it will. That's just a thought, just an idea. But if I was setting things up, I would do that. You're familiar with Jadis. You know she's connected with the CRM. He could be connected with CRM. The CRM is the flex tape that connects all of the Walking Dead universe. But we'll have to see how it goes down, guys. But there you go. I'm glad I could be here for multiple things. If you know anybody or yourself or anybody was, in danger with the hurricane, if you made out okay, I can't imagine what it's like to just have wreckage and because I've been through hurricanes and storms and tropical storms, but nothing directly, outside on there as well. So hopefully you and yourself and your family are all safe and sound. I'm glad I am. Thank you for everybody that reached out on social media and Facebook and Instagram and all those different places. But I'll be back next Sunday, guys, for the live stream. I'll be posting videos all week. It may be a little crazy week again because I have to drive an hour to go see a couple patients with this therapist and then an hour back. And it's just kind of crazy driving around that. And then Tuesday I have some training. Wednesday I have more training. Thursday and Friday is probably more training. So it's a lot of crazy stuff with, I don't know. It's just crazy. Michael Singer, if we paid you an extra $1,000, would you do 2 hours? I mean, that would be pretty tempting to get paid, a lot of money for that. But, I think an hour is really good. I think it's a good amount of time for us. Hopefully I have some more videos this week. But thank you guys for all the support. I truly appreciate all the different stuff that's going there. No hurricanes in sight, so we should be okay. I'm super excited to be back in the fold with the Walking Dead universe going strong, with the Walking Dead back on TV. So thank you guys, and remember, with hard work, dedication, belief, and sacrifice, you can truly achieve your goals. Believe in yourself. You can do it. It's about love, support, staying positive, making memories, working hard. I'll be back next Sunday. Enjoy the episodes if you haven't seen them yet. See you guys, and I'll see you next week. See ya!